Good afternoon, everybody. SFC Live at 5 is back right here with you today. It's been a beautiful day in spite of the clouds and a little bit of rain and all of that other stuff. It's still a beautiful, beautiful day. I hope you got a chance to go out and make it great. I hope you did. It's been a beautiful day. Um, Giving you guys a chance to get on and all that other stuff. Let me just give you some announcements. And for those of you, I know many of you say it's hard now for you to get on actually live, but you always go back and you look at Live at 5. So I really appreciate that from you. I really do. So we've been announcing that our holiday party is Saturday, December the 10th. That date is wrong, and I take full responsibility for that. I gave you the wrong date. It is actually December the 17th from 1 to 5 at Visions Event Center, downtown Winston-Salem. We are still looking. We have had a phenomenal response for people that are saying they're coming. I hope that the change in date don't keep you from being able to come. Some of you have already told me that the 17th won't work for you, and I hate that. And it's my fault that I got the dates wrong, and we even put it wrong on our site on our flyer. So, but anyway, we're still going to have loads of fun on December the 17th. December the 17th, downtown Winston at Visions Event Center. I think it's on West 3rd Street. You can't miss it. It's a beautiful place right next to the parking deck on 3rd Street. So you'll see, we'll get you the address and you'll see it on the flyer, the accurate flyer. And we will make sure that that's posted multiple times this week just to make sure that we are here. And yeah, December the 17th, Visions Event Center, right downtown Winston. So please mark your calendar. And again, my apologies. And I certainly hope that the date mix up doesn't keep you from going. It's going to be phenomenal. We're going to actually be doing some planning as to what you guys want to see happen with SFC in 2023. I'm excited about it. You know, we've got a lot of people, a lot of you that are regulars to us and are very committed to our mission. We are going to be able to talk a little bit on that day just to see what you want to do. I would love for us to schedule some retreats, just the SFC group to get away somewhere that's close by, Midway, different places that we would like to do once or twice next year. So that is my hope. So I'm excited about it. I want to see you guys December the 17th. It is. And from 1 to 5, Visions Event Center. I think the address is 203 or 302, something like that, West 3rd Street, downtown Winston-Salem. But don't quote me on that accurate address. Wait till we get the flyer posted up after the show, and you can get all of the stuff that you need to be a part of our holiday party. We are like right in the mix of the holiday. I hope you've already embraced the holiday spirit and are out doing things and making things happen for you and yours. Here we go. This is a new month. It's December. We are closing out this year, guys, with a bang. So I have really been toying with what to talk about and how to end the year. And ironically enough, this week, early part of last week, rather, I ran into something. It was a YouTube channel, and I can't remember the source, the title of the YouTube channel it was, and I can post that too later on. But anyway, it was talking about a lady by the name of Catherine Ponder and her books. I looked at them on Amazon. I plan to order some. I think she has 3 or 4 out, but there are a couple that they were talking about in this podcast and on this YouTube channel, and that really got my attention. So one of the things that they're talking about, this is what I want to talk about. This is going to be our new discussion for the month of December, and I think it's very apropos for this particular month. And it is entitled, what we're going to call it is The Art of Receiving. The Art of Receiving. We don't have it up today, but we're going to put it in the comment section. Hey, Pastor, hey, Catherine, I'm sorry. Hey, good to see you. But we're going to call it the art of receiving. Now, this whole thing blew my mind because by nature, I am a giver. I am a 100% giver. I give, I give in so many ways. Hey, Derek, I give in so many ways, whether, it's monetarily, physically, mentally, emotionally, professionally. I give and I give and I give. But when it comes time for me to receive, that's the part that I struggle with. And the way this book, Catherine Ponder, explains it, and the mental blocks that we have allowed to be in our mind as a result of things we've been taught down through the years as a child, um, not being able to receive, it hinders you from being able to give. And I'll explain that. The exchange of anything, whether it's emotional, physical, mental, monetarily, the exchange of anything is nothing but energy exchanging itself. If you think about it, it's like the electrical current that runs through your house and on a light switch. So when you leave a room and there's nobody else in there, you cut the light off or turn the light off, and that means that there's no more electricity. It's there, but it's not actually getting to the room. So you cut the current by the switch. So you're there. And when you cut that current, that means that there is no light getting into that room. As soon as you turn on the light switch, that means the flow of energy goes back and you're able to have light in those rooms. So that is the concept of giving and receiving. When you're a giver, and Derek says he's a giver too, when you are a giver, it's so easy for you to give. So that flow of energy going out is what sets you up to be blessed. That's why you're a giver and you give and it comes back to you. The problem is that when we don't allow it to come back to us, it is equivalent to us turning off the light switch. And when you are uncomfortable giving, and we'll talk about that in a few minutes. When you're uncomfortable receiving, rather, then you're cutting that light switch off, and it keeps you from having more to give because you break that current of electricity, that exchange of giving and receiving. It breaks that current, and it keeps you from being in that constant flow of giving and receiving. I was sharing with my niece a few minutes ago. Usually, whenever I hear stuff like that, my mind starts like going through everything that I know about scripture and about the Bible. And there is a scripture in Malachi, I believe it is, it says, "Give and it shall be given back to you, good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over, shall men or people pour into your lap." Well, that explains the whole art of receiving, because you cannot receive or give if you don't receive. Hey, Benny, you cannot give if you don't receive. It's that perpetual cycle, that energy that's there, but we cut off the switch. And let me show you how many of you were taught, or you don't take anything from people. You don't take anything from people, because when you start receiving from people, it's like you're indebted to them, and you don't want to be indebted to them. So don't take anything. And most of us, and I think that was one of my problems too. I would not want to receive anything. It's just hard for me to receive. And I'm not just talking about money. I'm talking about compliments. I'm talking about accolades. I'm talking about kindness, because I felt like I was indebted. If somebody gave me a compliment, I would immediately have to just say something, as opposed to just saying thank you and receiving it. I was like, oh no, that ain't me. I would just try to fight it. Well, I realized that I was breaking the cycle. In order for me to have accolades to give, I had to be able to receive them as well. In order for me to have kindness and love and joy to give, I have to be able to receive it. So I have to keep that flow, that energy flowing constantly, constantly. When I give, then I should be able to receive. As I receive, I'm giving. I give, I receive. So it's that perpetual cycle of energy that keeps goodness and money and love and kindness that's in a constant flow in my life, just like an energy current. So so the art of receiving, it is so it just blew my mind. The more I thought about it, the more I talked about it, the more I listened to this. I looked up Catherine Ponder and some of the teachings that she had. It is amazing to me, um, how I had put that mental block, and I was the problem because I wasn't able to receive. If you freely give, you need to be able to freely receive. And that is what keeps, it's all about that energy flow. It's not about that. And I know some of you, you're probably taught like I was, don't expect anything back, just give and give what you can, give out of the kindness and the goodness of your heart. You shouldn't expect anything back, but you should. Spiritually speaking, metaphysically speaking, you should expect something back, because if you don't, that means that that energy cycle, that flow, is not doing what it's supposed to. As long as you're able to freely give, then you should always open yourselves up to be able to freely receive. I'm gonna take Derek's comment, and then I'm gonna tell you something that we're talking about. It says, I'm receptive receiving, but people feel it is a must to return something when I give. I give from my heart without looking for anything in return. When I do receive, I am generally taken aback as the recipient because it catches me. Exactly. And that's exactly what I wanted to go into, Derek, because that is me. My thing, my niece and I were talking, and my thing is this, like, I know what I'm able to give, whether it's financially, emotionally, spiritually, professionally, counsel wise, advice. I know what I'm able to give. And everybody, Derek, cannot give on the same level. It is not about what you receive. It's about the how you receive it. So say for example, if I want to give you a steak dinner and I take you to the chop house or whatever, I don't eat steak. This is merely an example. But if I take you there and I spend $150 on your meal, and I'm so cool with that. That is just my generosity, my doing what I do for you. Now, you, on the other hand, or whomever on the other hand, says, well, I can't afford to do that. I can't give to you the way you give to me. Well, that's not what it's about. It's about being able to give what you can give. So you can take me to Chick-fil-A, and if I know that it is out of the kindness of your heart, and this is what you can give, then I will receive it. I don't look at you as being poor, or, oh no, he can't afford to do that. No, one of the things that I learned a long time ago is, when you give, you put yourself in position to receive. Say, for example, like I learned how to give myself out of financial debt, if that makes sense. And I know that sounds like an oxymoron, but like, I literally learned to give myself out of debt. Like, if I was ever in a situation, like, I would give because I kept that cycle open. What I started messing up was, I wouldn't let people give to me. And every time that I would block that energy flow, every time I would block that cycle, I would be the one suffering. It would take me a long time to get out of something that it should have taken me a shorter time to get out of. So I had to learn, like, when people give to me, whether it is a compliment, whether it's money, to receive it as cheerfully as I give it. And that is what keeps that cycle, that perpetual cycle of energy flowing in and out of my life. I can't look at anybody and say, oh, no, I'm not going to take this. You can't afford to give. I'm doing you a disservice. I'm blocking your blessing. So now, when I know that I'm going to bless somebody, and it's like, no, you don't need to do that. Yes, I do. I need to do it for me. And you need to receive it for you, because we're going to keep this cycle going. We're going to keep it flowing and flowing, so that there isn't a lack. We can't afford to break the cycle. Now, I know a lot of times when we talk about giving, the first thing that we think about is money. But I'm talking about, if you feel like that you are lacking love, or you're lacking peace or whatever, you've got to give it in order to receive it. And it may not come from the resource that you want it to come from, but I can assure you there is a resource that will give it back to you. But you've got to be willing to receive it. Don't block it because of where it comes from. Receive it and open up yourself and them for doing it. Yolanda says, I was raised with the concept of it is better to give than receive, but I recognize that this tenet leaves me often feeling empty and unappreciated. This is a timely message needed, especially in this consumer season. Absolutely. Most of us, we've been taught that we're in church or by our parents who were in church or whatever. It's more blessed to give than to receive. No, it is blessed to give and receive. Yeah, I know that that is scripture, that is spoken. It is more blessed to give than it is to receive. But you've got to look at that in its particular context and look at when it was said, who it was said to, and how it was stated. When you've got a rich person that's giving and they have an abundance to give, yes, it is more blessed to give than it is to receive. But even with the receiving of something, it keeps that cycle going. And we'll talk more about that because that is something that we were all raised with. We were taught it in church, we were taught it in Bible study, we were taught it in Sunday school. Man, we're just taught, but we were taught in the wrong concept or the wrong connotation, if you will. And we can use that, and we're going to talk about that next week. We'll talk about that next week. Don't let me forget. We're going to talk about that next week. But yeah, we've got to get ourselves in the mindset of allowing that energy to flow. I am very guilty of, like, if one of my godsons, he always come and he'll hit me up for money or whatever. And, I'll give it to him. I'll give it to him. But then, like, he'd be like, well, here's your money back. I told you I just buy, here's your money back. And I would always say, keep it. Don't even worry about it. Just keep it. You need it worse than I do. Keep it. So I got to the place now to where, okay, give my money back. Or if he offers it back to me, then I take it without a problem. And I also tell him, when you're sowing or giving to good ground, you're planting seeds, and seeds will grow. They will grow. And I tell him, you need to sow into me. If you see that I am fruitful, if you see that I'm fertile, you see that I am good soil to sow into, when you get paid, you need to come and say, look, let me take you out. We can go to McDonald's, or we can go to Wendy's. We can get a 2 for 2, whatever they call it. But that's what you do. That's how you set yourself up to receive and to give more. And not only that, when I taught him that, I can tell it's less and less that he's coming to hit me up for money. Now, I can't explain what all that's for. That could be just me going off sometimes at him, but for the reality is, he's seeing that he's able to have money because I've taught him that. I've taught him, like, you be a blessing. You be a blessing. That opens up yourself to be blessed, and more opportunities. He'll leave this job and go find another that's making $2 or $3 more an hour. So it's just something that I really want to just drop this seed of information into you today. Think about that. The art of receiving is what we're going to talk about over the next probably 3 weeks, because Christmas Day, we probably will not air on Christmas Day, but we're going to at least give it 3 weeks of our undivided attention. So I really want you to think about that. Think about the art of receiving and set yourself up. Don't get caught up in where it comes from. Just know that once you give, it's going to come back to you. Good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over, will men give unto you, or pour it into your lap. The thing is, the question that you're going to have to ask is, am I going to be able to receive it cheerfully as I have given it? So when they come, and that scripture comes to life in your life, are you going to reject it, or are you going to receive it? Make it an art. Yes, I am worthy of receiving a $5 meal from McDonald's. I am worthy to receive love and kindness and patience because I give. And I set that cycle up so that I can receive. You have to know that if you cut off that switch, if you shut that switch down, then you're shutting off your blessing. That flow of money, that flow of love, that flow of energy, that flow of joy, happiness, it stops the moment you say, no, you don't have to do that. Or no, I'm not going to take that from you. Or no, I don't deserve that. No, I'm not worthy. It stops. And it doesn't start back until you become conscious enough to turn that switch back on again so that that can flow. Yeah, I don't feel bad about receiving. I used to. I don't feel bad about receiving now because I am a giver. And it automatically puts me in a place where things flow into my life. Derek says, I recognize when good things come my way, non-tangible, as a result of my generosity. Yes, absolutely. That's what happens. You open up that window, if you will, of heaven so that blessings can be poured out on you that you won't have room to receive. It's no point in God opening the window if you're going to close your hand. Okay, it is a mute point. If he opens the window and you say, no, I'm not going to do that. I feel bad because somebody else need it worse than I do. I feel bad because that person might need it. They're struggling right now. If God uses that person to bless you, receive your blessing. Because not only will you get something out of it, it keeps the cycle going, but it creates a cycle for them. It creates that cycle. And as bad as it may appear that they are, what they are actually doing is turning on that light switch so that energy can start flowing in their life. When they give to you, it has to come back to them. When you receive it, it has to come back to you because you're going to give more. You cannot keep giving without receiving, because at some point your giving will come to an end because the light switch will have been shut off. Leave that switch on and receive and give with cheerfulness. Okay, don't just, God blesses a cheerful giver, he also blesses a cheerful receiver, because it is that cycle, that infinity cycle of energy flowing in and out of your life so that you will position yourself to give more. Okay, you position yourself to give more. I'm gonna stop there, and we're gonna pick up. I want to share something with you. I have never shared this before. uh, Maybe two or three people know it. And I want to challenge you. It's a challenge for the holiday. Okay, it's a challenge for Christmas Day. So every Christmas, I started this several years ago, and so I would take some money, I would put it in a card, and I would drive around the city, and I would go all over the city, downtown, where people were out, and I would just put money in the card, and I would give them a card and just put, Merry Christmas, enjoy lunch or whatever on me. And, I wouldn't even wait to see if they would open the card or not. I would just do it because it's not even about me. But when I tell you, that opened up so many doors. I'm literally sowing seeds all over the city, and I am able, and every year I increase the amount. And when I tell you, the blessings that I have. So I want to challenge you to do something like that in the city that you're in. I challenge you to join me, and let's do that. Like, let's literally get in your car on Christmas morning. I get in my car on Christmas morning, and I just literally, I drive around the city, and anybody that I see out walking, I see, these are people who could use a hot meal or whatever. I literally just give them a card, just a little note in the card, have a fabulous day, remember, there is still good in the land. There's still good people, and I would try to increase the amount that I give. And when I tell you, it has opened up so many doors because I've started that cycle of giving. I started at the end of the year, and it goes right into the next year. It's almost like, in my mind, I think I'm sowing my seed at the end of this year so that I can reap a harvest for next year. So I challenge you to do that with me. Not two people ever, I have never shared that, but with about two or three people. And I really want, I've seen people cry. I've seen people like, I can't believe you. You know, like, are you really sure? Are you sure you want to give this to me? And then of course I've got some like, that's all you got. So, it's, it ain't even about, it's just a matter of being kind. And I challenge you to do that on Christmas morning. Just be a light for somebody, be love for somebody, and let somebody see God in you. Denise says, I am a giver as well, but I never felt bad about receiving. It just seemed that I give more than I receive. So the balance is off, which challenges my giving. I know. And I think a lot of times we get caught up with Denise just thinking that it's supposed to come back a certain kind of way, and it comes back from certain folk that we feel like we give it to. And I've been there too, Denise. I'm like, okay, I give and give and give so much, and the very people that I give to are the ones that never give back to me. Why do I always give them? I had somebody to call me today that I hadn't heard from in years, and it's crazy because the last time I saw them, I gave them my phone number, and just as a reconnect, didn't hear anything from them. And it's been 2 or 3 years ago. All of a sudden, they needed money, and they thought of me. They were able to find my phone number. Go figure. Like for real. Like that's that's what we're doing. But that's what I run into. Like I give and give and give so much, and it would appear that the scales are imbalanced or unbalanced. But I always know that it comes from somewhere. God always has a resource. I tell people all the time, God is the source. Everything else is merely a resource. So I know that my source, God, is abundant. He is prosperous. There is an abundance of love, an abundance. There is no shortage of anything. And he always sends a text message. He always sends a money. He always sends love just when I need it the most. So I mean, I'm telling you, Denise, don't stop giving no matter what. Don't ever stop giving. Don't ever worry about it being unbalanced. Don't ever worry about it, because it will all come. It will all come. Just keep doing you, and you're going to receive. You're going to receive it. Just open up yourself to receive more and watch it happen. So anyway, I want to challenge you guys with that on Christmas Day. Challenge it, and I want you to tag us in your, yes, like I accept the challenge. I'm going to be in Raleigh, or I'm going to do it in DC, or I'm going to do it in Atlanta. I'm going to do it in Greensboro. Just do that, and let's just change the world. It don't have to be much. Give what you can. If it's nothing but $1, it's enough for them to get a cup of coffee or something. I mean, do whatever you can do. Do whatever you can do. And I promise you, you're going to open up yourself to receive so much more. The Malachi, give and it shall be given. Good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over, what people give to you, it's going to come back to you. It's going to come back. So I challenge you. We'll talk more about that challenge over the next couple of weeks. We'll talk more about the art of receiving over the next couple of weeks. Let's make this happen. We're going to have the best year end that we've ever seen. Derek says, I felt that way at one time, but learned to let it go. You have to. You just have to know that it's going to come back to you. Once you turn that light switch on to where that energy can flow, it's going to flow right into your life. Whatever you give, it's going to come back. You cannot sow seeds of corn and expect to get peas in return. Whatever you give, whatever you give, whatever you give, it's going to come back. Good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. Derek is in Fredericksburg, Virginia. Benny is in Baltimore. So we got this love. Let's try to get it in as many cities, as many states as we absolutely can. Join me, please, and let's change the world just one person at a time. Let's spread some true love, and just keep God moving so people can see what God really looks like through us by giving. And I promise you, if you take me up on this challenge, your life won't be the same. I promise you. Do that for me. Thank you guys. Don't forget the 17th of December, we will have our holiday party downtown Winston at Visions Event Center. The new information is out, is coming out, and you'll get reminded of it over the course of the next few days, the next couple of weeks. So we want to just blow that up. We're going to have some fun. We're going to have some live music, a lot of vendors, some good information, some good food. If you're in the area, come on by Visions Event Center, downtown Winston-Salem. All right, you guys have a phenomenal night and a great week, and we'll talk again on Sunday. Bye-bye.